Hello and welcome back to Tsukihime. My name is Maybeee Dennis, and last time Shiki woke up and for some reason refused to put on his glasses even though he had a headache. But yeah, he kind of got through the day, talked to Akiha in the parlor room, and just kind of went to school. At school, he finds an angry senpai, and she's kind of like, yeah, you keep butting your head into this, etc. I'm mad at you. So, and yeah, we kind of once again go through the day, but then Shiki kind of faints. He was like, I'm feeling really healthy now. He faints in class, wakes up in the nurse's office with Noel and CL talking about some Dead Apostle base that they're going to basically raid after they've already beaten the Dead Apostle. So Shiki wakes up, kind of talks to them a little bit, and after, not after school, but during lunch, he sees CL walking away. He's like, I'm gonna go get her and help her out. So that's exactly what he does. And he follows her to the station and basically almost kind of forces CL to be like, bring me, I want to help you. So they go to this new, like this hospital that we've seen in the other route. And honestly, nothing really big happened. We just kind of like walked around. But the big thing is that we actually went on a curry date with CL where he, had curry and kind of told her about the mystic eyes. And after listening to about our power, she's like, wait, I misinterpreted something. I gotta go. And now we're basically going home and we're sneaking out, fulfilling our promise with Arquid. So let us continue. Okay, so technically I didn't lie. He's talking about saying, I'm not gonna go out alone.
吸血鬼探しはしているが、一人ではないのである。
Yeah. The park is dark and deserted. My flimsy excuse aimed at no one in particular disappears into the night.
何か言った？シキ。
いや、別に。
Hi, Arquid.
アルクエイドには関係のないことだ。気にしないでくれ。
I thought she was gonna start smiling, then I realized I pressed the wrong button. Besides, as far as promises go, I made a promise to Arquid first. I silently make a sincere apology to CL. My only defense is to argue that these are two separate matters.
よし、吸血鬼探しを始めよう。今夜はどこに行くんだ？
I feel like slowly my episodes are being divided into daytime and nighttime. Because like the daytime stuff takes like quite a bit to get through, and the nighttime also does it. So I usually end up, I guess, subconsciously cutting it in half. It's a nice break.
今夜は特に当たりをつけている場所はないわ。街を歩いて死者を見つけるぐらい。あなたの目なら生きている人間と死んでいる人間、一目で判別がつくから。
Okay, it's gonna mess up my eyes, but alright.
ちょっときついだろうけど、できる？シキ。
Arquid's telling me to take my glasses off and walk around in town. I get nauseous when I take off my glasses even when there's no one around, so it'll be all the worse in the crowded city center. All I can say in response to that face is, leave it to me.
もちろん。協力するって、そういうことだろ。
ええ、頼りにしてるわ、パートナーさん。
I think he might run into CL and start freaking out because he can see the lines on her. That might happen.
でも本当に辛くなったらすぐに休んでね。あなたの目は特別だから大切に扱わないと。
Oh my god, she's kind of creeping me out because she's creepier in this route. At Arquid's command, we march towards the bustling downtown area. I feel a little strange surge in motivation as I resolve to take off my glasses. Let's go. First up is the shopping district. We need to find and eliminate as many vampires as we can. I mean, if you don't kill every one of them, they're gonna repopulate, so yeah. But in spite of my eagerness, we come up empty-handed. We go from the shopping district to the back alleys to the office district, then we go all the way to an abandoned factory without finding a single vampire. Everyone must be on high alert after hearing about Roa's death. Afraid of Arquid, they're holed up in their rooms, wherever those might be. We won't be able to find them like this. But they can't stay hidden forever. If they don't eat, they'll turn back into corpses. One way or another, they'll have to take a risk if they want to survive. Will they come out of hiding first, or will we let them give up the hunt on? Wait, or will we let them up? Or will we let up on the hunt first? This waiting game will likely continue for some time. It's kind of anticlimactic, but it's better than being more victims. And more than anything, this means I get to spend more time walking around town with Arquid. He keeps going back and forth between CL
今
and
夜は
Arkwood.
完全に無駄惚れだったな。緊張して損した。
I sit down on a bench and wait for my lingering headache to pass. The night air is cold. It feels like every breath I take freezes the toxins that are making my head pound. My dizziness and nausea slowly start to subside. Yeah, the cold air really does help with that.
そうね。でも私は楽しかったわ。四季は相変わらず文句ばっかりだったけど、無駄なことがこんなに面白いなんて知らなかっ
My
た。
head, it hurts. It's gonna split open.
その点は空気を読んだ人たちに感謝ね。お礼に、出会った時は容赦なく粉々にしてあげる。
Damn. Okay. Make my job easier. Despite that disturbing declaration, Arkwood is in a good mood. She's spinning around in circles in front of me as I rest on the bench. It's funny, I was like, you know, the daytime sections take a while and the nighttime sections take a while. We're already done with the nighttime section pretty much. Never mind, unless this discussion takes a very long time. Man, what's up with her? She's like a kid who just stepped outside for the first time in her life. Or a prisoner who's finally gotten a taste of freedom after being locked away for years. You know, both of them kind of technically apply.
まあ、元気なことはいいことだけど。
While my mouth spouts off a sarcastic remark, my eyes can't help but follow Arkwood's form. He's so cute! I guess I can't deny it any longer. I care deeply for CL, but I'm completely smitten by Arkwood. Just as I feel drawn to CL, I feel drawn to her. I was obligated at first because I had killed her, but that excuse no longer applies. What a fool I am. Although I want to be useful to CL, I'm infatuated with her mortal enemy, a vampire. There must be something wrong with me. Logically, I know that I should keep my distance from Arkwood, but this primal urge pulls me towards her otherworldly beauty. Once, I even went so far as to give in to my lust and ruthlessly committed an unforgivable act. I still don't understand how he basically, how that was basically his, for lack of better words, his way of displaying his lust. It's very weird. He basically got a hard-on for killing someone. I guess that might be serial killer behavior, so that's really creepy. I wonder if I'll get more answers to that, but at the moment I still don't. I shake my head to clear away lingering images. The nausea's back, but that made me feel like myself again. It reminded me that I'm not worthy of spending time with Arkwood like this.
アルクエド、元気そうだけど体の調子はどうなんだ？お前、昨日くしゃみしていただろ。風邪とかひいてないか？
Oh right, we asked CL about this. She's like, they can't catch colds. If they can, then the human race is doomed. That means it's a disease that we can't handle.
風邪？免疫機能の低下による発熱のこと？そんなの引いてないよ。
I just wanted your jacket.
ねえ、どうしてそんなことを聞くの？
Because you sneezed yesterday and it was really cute.
もしかして私のことを心配してくれてる？
Arkwood bends over to look at me in the eye.
別にそんなんじゃない。俺がやっちまった傷がちゃんと治ってるのか気になっただけだ。
She's so close, I feel drunk on her scent. I look away, self-conscious about lying to her.
式につけられた傷はそう簡単には完治しないわ。
17 pieces!
昨日のはそれとは別。多分身体機能を変えていたからじゃない？戦う時以外はあなたに合わせて人間寄りにしているから。
Oh. You can do that? I mean, I guess true ancestors can do like anything, right?
は
はあ?
人間寄りってなんで？
さあ、なんででしょう。
Because she wants to spend time with you as a human! Arkwood giggles as she skips away from me. She looks like a butterfly fluttering about.
ま、風邪のはずがないんだよな。吸血鬼は風邪をひかないって先輩も言ってたし。
And I was really like confused about that. Dude, she got angry. She's like, "You're talking about other women in front of me?" Ah! Mortal enemy too. Becoming more human sounds like a bit pointless to me, if not outright dangerous. But as long as she's making a steady recovery, I'm happy. Feeling relieved, I lift my face up to see.
先輩って あの女のこと？
Did she tell me, Shiki? So close. Arquette standing even closer to me than she was before, glaring into my soul.
なんだよいきなり。あの女って誰さ？
とぼけないで。あの女はあの女よ。グローブと戦っていたあいつ。やっぱり昼間はあいつにまとわりつかれてるのね。
いや、そんなことは。
No, you're really bad at lying. I'm the one clinging to CL, but telling Arquette that would spell certain doom.
まあ、吸血鬼のことを教えてくれたのは先輩だけど、いいじゃないか。先輩もお前もやってることは同じなんだから。ロアは倒したんだし、もう敵対する理由はないんだろ。
理由はなくても相入れないの、私たちは。いい？神祖であろうと使徒であろうと、吸血鬼にとって代行者は敵なの。前にも話したでしょ？あいつらがどれだけ陰湿な奴らかって。もう忘れちゃったの？シキのバカ。
Shiki no baka.
覚えてる。ちゃんと覚えてます。確か。
She explains all this to me at the hotel. Oh, explained. An organization formed for the sole purpose of exterminating vampires. Hunters of heretics who execute the Lord's teaching in his holy name. The executors of the church, CL's true allegiance. The main reason dead apostles operate in secret is because they are afraid of being discovered by them.
吸血鬼の天敵だろ。夜の巡回だってもともとは先輩の仕事なんだろうし。となるとお前はなんだ？吸血鬼界の裏切り者か？
それを言うなら私は吸血鬼にとっての天罰よ。
I am their god, and I am punishing them.
まあいいわ。代行者なんて虫みたいなものだし、連中がどんなに出てきても関係ない。でもあいつだけは別。
Okay, we finally get to learn a little bit about their history. This has seriously gotten under Arquette's skin. She can't even stand to say CL's name. I give up. I knew they didn't get along, but I had no idea it was this bad.
それであなたはどうなの、シキ？
Is it because she's killed ancestors before? No, they've clearly met each other, I think. Though CL said that she hasn't, or at least she only knows Arquette by name.
あいつをどう思っているのかってこと。私、シキのことは何だっていいんだけど、あいつだけはダメ。あなたの気持ちがあいつに向くだけで許せない。
It's too late for that. Those crimson eyes begin to flare. Hold up. She looks like she's seriously ready to kill someone.
許せないってなんだよ。先輩は俺の学校の先輩だ。いつも世話になってるし、グローブの時だって助けてくれた。アルクエイドだって先輩と一度話せば仲良く。
No!
絶対にならない。私はあいつが嫌いだし、あいつも私を殺したがってるし。
Damn, look at that face. Oh, cold.
シキは騙されているだけよ。埋葬機関の人間はみんな好戦的で、隙あらば襲いかかってくるんだから。
I don't know.
だいたいあなたは初めからあいつの正体を知っていたの？どうせいつも通り一般人のふりをしてあなたをからかっていたんじゃない？
To be fair, that's not the worst argument. And Arquette was very clear with us what type of being she was from the get-go. Huh. That's true. CL did hide her identity from me, but she had her reasons. The only way she can protect people is by keeping the existence of vampires a secret. Since vampires disguise themselves as humans, revealing her identity would alert them of the Executor's presence. Besides, CL's still CL, knowing the truth hasn't changed that. Having lunch with her, laughing about pointless nonsense with Narihiko, spending time together in a tea ceremony room, it was all so much fun. If such a thing were possible, I might have been better off never knowing CL's identity.
So
you like her, Shiki?
シキ、
Ah!
あなた、あの女と私、どっちの味方？
You must choose a side, Shiki. Who is best girl in this game? We have 4 other routes in another game. Her tone is openly hostile. It seems that CL is an enemy that Arkwood will never embrace. That's why she's glaring at me so fiercely. Anyone who sides with her enemy, even Shiki Tohno himself, is her enemy too.
そんなことは絶対にないと思うけど、あの女に関わるのはやめて。万が一にも仲良くなんてなってたら殺すから。
アルクエイド。
Uh-oh. The words get stuck in my throat. I have to admit that I'm more drawn to Arkwood. Can't deny how important to me CL is. Ooh. This is quite the choice. I want to say this as my real answer, so I'll go with this first. I think back to that rainy night. Arkwood was dead, murdered by my hands, and I was selfishly praying for death to take me. CL brought me back from the brink. Okay, so right now in the flowchart, we have this choice. I can't ignore Arkwood. I'm confused what... I'll keep going.
俺はあの人に命を救われた。
私だって何度も救ってるけど。
That removal BGM and that cut in. I've saved your life so many times too. Anyways, I think back to the fight with Love. CL fought alone in that frozen wasteland for a cause she stood to gain nothing from.
この町を守ってくれた。
Hey, I did that too.
私だってめっちゃ守ってますけど。
Yeah. I think back to CL's smile at the curry shop. She said that she accepted me, even if I'm scared, even if I'm lost.
私だってお昼ご飯ぐらいおごれますけど。
Oh my god. She's like, I'm best girl. You're not even saying it out loud, but I can read your mind.
ちょっと黙ってくれませんかね。なんでランチのことわかるんだよ。ついに俺の考えまで読むようになったのか。
だって今一緒にカレーショップがどうとかつぶやいてたから。
I didn't do that, no. Damn, did I say that out loud? Nah, she
何
was
も
stalking
はっ
you.
きりしない式が悪いんじゃない。そんないかにもかっこいい独り言でごまかされないからね、私。
By acting cool. Shiki. But Shiki's such a dork.
かっこいい独り言ってなんだバカ。お前が邪魔しなけりゃ今頃はっきり答えてたよ。
なら言えば聞いてあげる。
まったく。
Jeez.
いいか。先輩は大切な人だ。あの人がいなかったら俺はここにいなかった。だけど
You're important to me too.
尊敬と好き嫌いは別の話だ。敵味方の話をするなら俺はお前の方が何倍も放っておけない。
Oh. What did I just say? I can't lie about how I feel. Even tonight, I withstood the pain of going without glasses just so I could walk around town with Arkwood.
何倍
He likes me. He made the right choice. I am best girl. Let's get. I don't know why, but just being with this woman makes me feel like my sins and all my fears are all erased. So much so that I have to consciously force myself not to wrap my arms around her right here, right now. In other words, I just want her.
どうした？何があった？
He's super happy. Arkwood hunches over, her back trembling like an excited cat. Then, with a strange cry, she raises both hands in the air.
あいつのことは許せないけど今の言葉だけで多めに見てあげましょ
う。So easy.
気持ちが弾けそうだから私帰るね。
帰るっていきなりか。というか明日もここで待ち合わせでいいんだな。
もちろん。式の言う通り明日はもっともっと何倍も綺麗になって待ってるね。
I need to get ready for that date.
いや何倍もってそういう意味じゃ。
Woo! Teleported out of there. My voice doesn't reach her in time. Arkwood has already leapt away in a flash.
綺麗って人間なんてどうでもいいんじゃなかった。
I can't even complain to her for not acting like a vampire this time. Because that vampire smile has made me blush so intently that I have to cover my face.
いや、今には笑ってる場合じゃない。俺も帰らないと。
It's almost midnight. I have to return to the mansion while I still have the energy. I'm wondering if that might actually be the right choice. Because I know that this route has a lot of bad ends. I'm wondering if you chose CL, it would result in a bad end. Oh. Okay, the iron rod is raised high and swung down in one fluid motion. I'm gonna go back for now, but I'm actually gonna save here because I think that this might be the right choice. Okay, what happens if I cannot deny how important to me CL is? No matter what, I can't think of CL as an enemy.
先輩は大切な人だ。味方とか敵とか、そういう割り振りはできない。
何よ、
like, no.
それじゃあ私はどういう割り振りなの？
お前は放っておけないやつっていうか。
Oh. Unable to say what I mean, I awkwardly scratched the back of my neck. Even tonight, I withstood the pain of going without glasses just so I could walk around town with Arquid. I don't know why, but just being with this woman makes me feel like my sins and fears are all erased. Oh, the text is still the same, but she's really pissed. So much so that I have to consciously force myself not to wrap my arms around her right here, right now. Her chest. In other words, I just want her.
あ、いや、それは。
This is bad. This is really bad. It's unfair, really. Arquid is just charming me with her overwhelming beauty. It's gotta be it.
ああ、もういいだろ。なんだってそんなことを聞くんだ、お前は。
そんなの私にわかるわけないでしょ。もういい、私帰る。また明日ね、シキ。
I lose my cool and yell at her, only to have her yell at me right back.
帰るっていきなりか。というか、明日もここで待ち合わせでいいんだな。
当たり前です。
Yeah.
もし破ったらシキの家に押しかけてやるから。
Woo! Arquid leaps away in a flash after taking a horrifying parting shot. Huh.
たく、何なんだよ、一体。
She's mad at me, but we're still on for tomorrow. This flip-flopping is driving me crazy.
でも、今ので怒るってことは。
It might be reasonable to assume that Arquid likes me in her own way. I'd feel the same way if the friend of mine were close to someone I didn't like.
あいつ、人間なんてどうでもいいって言ってたのに。
She claims to be a vampire, but what is she thinking? Not that I'd know what vampires think about in the first place.
帰るか。そろそろ0時だしな。
Ah. With a sigh, I head out from the park. I still have my strength, yet my steps feel strangely heavy. Huh. So, like, I think this is not gonna be like illusion of choice. It's gonna result in the same thing. But clearly, like, huh, it's just one of the, I guess maybe it did, but it's just that like the left one gave such different vibes. I don't know. I actually like the other one more. So I think I'm gonna load the other save. Alright, we're back here. The iron rod is raised high and swung down in one fluid motion. At its end is a blade over 50 centimeters long. It has seen many years of use. Oh, it's an iron rod. Oh, who's using this weapon? I can't tell. And its once keen edge remains permanently blunt. Weighing in at 1 metric ton. Oh, Jesus. Gravity is all it takes to propel it downwards. A dull blade crushes the skull of its panic-stricken prey with its immense weight. The force with which it turns to bone to powder is something to behold. It might be CL.
何？
No, that's not a voice I recognize. A natural response. The sight is enough to horrify anyone. They cannot comprehend what is happening. They cannot comprehend what has just happened. This is a safe zone. This area is supposed to be free of danger. But this town is no longer safe for vampires. The true ancestor princess and the executors have seen to that. With both on the prowl, they are steadily running out of places to run. Faced with their imminent doom, the vampires were offered a deal. If they met certain conditions, they would be allowed to escape, So with her guards let down, they gathered here to accept the offer.
あれみんな反応悪いんじゃない？
Uh-oh, no, she's not gonna accept that offer.
ここは雲の子みたいに逃げ回るところでしょ？
So the pole they mentioned here was probably her iron rod was her halberd. A massive weapon in hand, the woman in nun's clothing tilts her head confusedly. She sees 13 faces around her. Each one belongs to a pathetic fugitive vampire, come to beg for their lives.
14人もいるから広い場所にしてあげたのに。これじゃあちょっと拍子抜けかな。
14. It's 13 now because she's just smashed one. The nun sighs, hanging her head in disappointment. The turnout is decent for a story she made up on the fly. This would never happen back in her home country. Even given a month to drum up anticipation, only 2 or 3 at most would take the bait. But there are as many as 14 here. The layout of the city, coupled with how gullible people are in this country, made it laughably easy.
おっと、今1匹潰れたからあと13匹よね。弦が悪いからもう1匹潰しておこっか。
She swings her 2-meter-long murder weapon. The halberd meets no resistance as it sinks into the head of its next victim, splattering it like a rotting pumpkin. Human-like shrieks of despair fill the air. The men and women gathered here are mostly in their early 20s. None of them had even seen the face of their blood-soaked companion, but they've all received the message. The nun slowly steps forward, savoring each and every second of the spectacle.
あらあら、危機感のないいい子ちゃんばかり。こういう時の反応はどこの国でも一緒なのね。
Oh man, she's really messed up. Understandable because, vampires are their mortal enemies, but still.
真夜中の台所に集まったネズミみたい。電気がついた途端、我先にと逃げ出すんだけど。
Blood sprays into the air for the 3rd time this night. The menacing blade sets its sights on a nearby mark and comes swinging down on top of their head. This time, the impact is devastating. There's nothing left of the skull as it bursts open. The blade runs through the victim's neck to the center of their torso.
はーい、注目！これからお姉さんが害獣駆除をするわけだけど、変な勘違いされるとイラッとくるので、あらかじめ説明しておきますね。まずはこの大部屋。結界を張ったので、あなたたちは絶対に逃げられません。窓から出ると溶けるから注意してね。次に私、何があろうと一匹も見逃さないので、私に命乞いをしても意味はありません。
Save me the goddamn time.
最後にあなたたち、助けを呼ぶ自由だけはあるので、助かりたかったら私にではなく神様にお祈りしてください。本当に神様がいて、あなたたちにそれだけの価値があるのなら、奇跡が起きて逃げられるよう世界は作られているはずです。
The holy woman removes her halberd from her last victim, now nothing more than a pile of flesh. And thus the panic that has taken hold of the captives reaches its peak. They run in all directions trying to get away from the nun, but her legs are like lead. This place has already been warded against vampires. The ward has no effects on humans, but for low-ranking dead apostles, it feels like being trapped in the bottom of the ocean, unable to run. Their bodies grow slower by the second.
なんで指定額は用意しただろう。なんで逆に殺されるんだよ。
やめて、やめて、頭はやめて、足もやめてよ。なんでこんなに痛いの。嘘、やめて、そこから引っ張られたら魚みたいに真っ二つになっちゃう。
I feel like if you had the time to say that, you probably should have been using that time to not, to do something else.
嘘ですよね先生。助けてくれるって、僕だけは助けてくれるって言ったじゃないですか。いい子にしていれば見逃してくれるって。
Oh damn. You said sensei, Miss Noel. Is he a student or... Oh shit. The nun's smile does not waver. She raises her halberd, its blade dripping with blood, and then brings it down on the skull of her next prey. Her breathing grows ragged. It's as if she is excited by the screams extracted by that blow. Oh my god.
早くドア開けなさいよ。殺されるじゃない。もう筒がもたもたしてんじゃねえよ。あんな女外にさえ出れば簡単に。
She's gonna melt? No.
無理です。
Oh, she did.
触ると指が溶けて。肘まで崩れちゃう。私溶けちゃってます。
She did tell you.
やめて。助けて神様。助けて。
He's having a grand old time.
祈ってたのにちゃんと神様に手を合わせて祈ってたじゃねえか。この人殺し、てめえのどこがシスターだ。
The nun sticks her blade into the back of the defenseless young man. Eyes bloodshot, she stops just short of cutting his spasming spine.
君、今妙なこと口走らなかった？
Bitch, what did you just say? What did you just say?
人殺し？人殺しって何？あんたたちみたいな害獣を殺すことが人殺し？今まで散々人間を食い物にしてきたくせに自分のことを人間と思ってたの？
やめて。すいません。ごめんなさい。謝ります。
Damn, this is a long ass scream. She just keeps going. His screams utterly fill the room. The 5 remaining captives can do nothing but tremble as a horrific scene unfolds before them. The nun drops her weapon, then meticulously, relentlessly begins to torture her fallen prey. First, she uses a sacrament to restore his sense of pain. Then she nails his eyelids open so he's forced to watch. She strips him naked and flays him, exposing his innards. Oh, Jesus fucking Christ. One by one, she cuts out his organs with her black keys. The pain that assails him is enough to make him wish for death. After removing all of his organs, she saw his ears and nose. Upon seeing his own mutilated body, "Kill me" is all he can think to say. For her final act, she cracks open his skull and fills it with holy water. To a vampire, holy water may as well be sulfuric acid. The brain should be able to feel pain, but the blessed liquid envelops her prey in agony so complete that it transcends sense, driving him mad. Oh my god. Kill me, kill me, kill me, he says over again. A record player on repeat. The sister lets out a sigh that sounds out of place in this hell. She lifts her halberd with a grunt and destroys the endless looping phonograph. Oh my gosh, she's so savage. She didn't have to do that.
あんまりにも面白いこと言われたから趣味に走っちゃった。安心してみんな。今ので満足しちゃったし、あなたたちは適当で済ませるから。手抜き作業でごめんなさいね。
The nun flashes the group a sweet smile. It's the final straw. They go into a frenzy, shrieking as they pound against the walls, even as the bounded field melts their hand away. They're begging for freedom for the depths of their beings.
やだやだやだやだ。お願い、殺さないで、殺さないで、殺さないでください。神様。
お願いします。何でもします。何でもしますから。どうか私だけは。帰る。今度こそちゃんとお家に帰るから。助けてよお母さん。お母さん。お母さん。お母さん。待ってよ。私はまだ誰も食べてない。昨日こいつらに襲われてまだ吸血鬼にもなってないのに、まだ一つもいい目に遭ってないのに。
Damn, that's a little bit savage. I feel bad for anyone that's been turned to a vampire but hasn't eaten yet, because they're just a victim. One left. Perhaps tired from her efforts, the woman takes a moment to catch her breath. The sole survivor asks a question of a resting nun.
なんで俺たちだったんだ。
はい。
俺たちはただの雑兵だ。放っておいても
あと数日で餓死していた底辺の怪物だった。あんたみたいな掃除屋がわざわざ手を出す必要のないクズだ。
I mean, the thing is, if left alone, you're gonna go out and feed on people, so...
なのに、どうして
You're not gonna wait and be starved, you're gonna go out and try to get food.
助けてやるなんて希望を持たせて殺しやがった。一人一人丁寧に散々怖がらせてさ、対向車ってのはもっと効率的で小物だけを狙うんじゃなかったのか。それでもお前は人間かよ。
The nun's eyes go wide at the vermin's unexpected rebuke. She's truly surprised, not by the fact that her prey is showing such incredible humanity.
弱い者が弱い者を襲うのは当たり前のことじゃないの。
But by the fact that it's asking her about something so obvious to any human.
自分より強い相手なんかと戦うわけがないでしょ。私は弱いから、自分より弱い奴にしか手を出さない。これ、人間社会じゃなくて、生き物の一般常識よ。
じゃあ、お前が俺たちを集めたのは吸血鬼だからじゃなく。
そう。都合よくストレスをぶつけられる相手が欲しかっただけよ。そんなの見てわかりなさいよ。
That's why she had to do all that stuff, because it felt good to her.
最悪。
man.
あなたたちって脳まで腐ってるのね。もしかしてクリームでも詰まってる？詰まってたのよね。そんな甘ったるい考えだから神様は助けてくれなかったのよ。
Damn, she's using this as stress relief. And she's, how do I say this? She's like, I can basically, quote unquote, legally kill all these people because they don't have human rights anymore. What? She delivers her final blow. The halberd slices through her prey's neck in one fell stroke, ending its life without suffering. Oh, so we're clearly seeing this really weird version of Noel. He's doing some shit. After cleaning the room of all traces of the 14 corpses she had scattered across it, the nun goes outside. The excitement that coursed through her only moments ago has evaporated. She wears a dejected look on her face as she throws down her blood-stained halberd. With dead eyes, she lets out the air in her lungs. It's such a depressing sigh that sounds like her soul leaving her body. Literally.
さすが下っ端。ドブさらいだけは慣れてるじゃねえか。
Hearing a voice behind her, the nun frantically arms herself. She is adept at picking off enemies weaker than her, but woefully inadequate when it comes to anything of equal or greater power. Her tendencies is to handicap herself by imagining the worst case scenario, a habit that prevents her from deploying her true strength. I feel like if I thought about the worst case scenario, I would go all out because that's the only way I can get out of it. Even now, thoughts of the worst are already beginning to form in her mind. Though she has yet to see who the voice belongs to, the very thought of an unknown third party approaching is enough to chip away at her sanity. Yep.
あんだけの殺しをやっておいて何ブルってやがる。落ち着けよメス豚。てめえにとっちゃ神に等しい上司様だっつの。
マリオ、司祭代行。
Relieved, the nun relaxes her shoulders and lowers her halberd. But the knot of tension in her chest remains. She understands the danger that she's in.
これは正当な討伐です。ドアをいぶり出すには、まず血液を集める兵隊を根絶する必要が。
She's like, legal murder?
知ってるよ。いちいち弁明すんな。初めっから見てたからな。スコアを報告しなくてもいい。だがまあ、ちょいとやりすぎだな。使徒どもに懺悔の機会なんぞを与えやがったのは見なかったことにする。代行者の殺し方はそれぞれだからな。
He's like, yeah, you fucked up, man.
問題は死体の数だ。中にはまだなりきれてない犠牲者もいたように見えたがね。
Yeah.
いいえ、あれは吸血鬼より始末が悪いものです。
That one person was like, I haven't even killed anyone yet. This just happened to me yesterday. Why? It's not my fault.
あの少女は人間であるにもかかわらず、
自分から奴らに協力して犠牲者を増やしていましたから。
And now she's
当然の末路
basically
です。
trying to make an excuse to, you know, justify her murder.
はあ、チキンなてめえにしちゃ冷徹な判断だ。吸血鬼に関わった人間は皆殺しってわけか。そいつは頼もしい。
Then by that mentality, that would also apply to Shiki.
何のご用でしょうか。司祭代行、定期連絡はしていますし、私の単独行動は許可されているのではないのですか。
ああ、奇跡会と埋葬機関は別管轄だ。てめえがシエルの相棒である以上、俺たちは対等だった。
だった。
Alright, yeah.
どういうことでしょうか。
代行者シエルはてめえとのコンビを解くとよ。できうる限り早くてめえを引き取れなんて言ってきやがった。なんで近いうちにてめえは俺の預かりだが、スコアも悪い、精神も不安定な不良物件を使うほど間抜けじゃねえ。
She's getting fired.
この一件が終わり次第、てめえは修道院送りだ。今のうちに身辺整理をしておけよ。
The church. The convent. An institution for the faithful who have chosen to lead a communal life under the teachings of the church, away from the secular world. Just as the Holy See is the smallest country in the world, each convent operates its own isolated little world. Once a nun takes her vow, she pledges to live out her life at the convent and becomes a member of the community. Separated from the outside world by a single wall, she lives as a child of the Father, abiding the teachings of frugality, chastity, and obedience. I'm not gonna lie, this sounds like a cult prison. It is a fine existence for those who seek it. However, for those who do not, being forced to live in a closed-off world of the convent is akin to torture. There is a reason that Noel could not become anything but an executor. So, it is as an executor that she would be re-educated if she were to be sent back to the convent. The brutal training she survived when she was younger is something that she does not believe she can go through again. But worse than anything, being sent there would mean undergoing a full body examination. For executors, chastity is not determined by one's virginity, but the purity of their human body. Oh, she's afraid because she got bit by Vlove. So right now, that examination is something she has to avoid at all costs.
待ってください。私は常に最善を尽くしています。代行者として何の問題もありません。さももなく修道院送りなんて、そんな横暴は許されないはずです。
Basically, for her, she thinks it's a death sentence.
ああ、てめえみたいな凡人の最善なんて知らねえよ。いいか、ここは通勤時間のある事務職じゃねえ。殺し合いの最前線だ。無能なやつも無能じゃないだけの凡人も等しく足手まといなんだよ。有能なやつにしか居場所のない世界だっていい加減諦めとけ。夢見るねんねじゃあるまいし、今年で何歳だよてめえは。
She quells the defiance that flares up inside her. A hatred far greater than that she felt during her cleanup earlier reared its head, but she pushed it back down with all her might. This boy is weaker than she is. He's just some 12-year-old kid. She could turn him into mincemeat with a swing of her halberd. Nope, no, he's strong. He can literally control you. However, he has far too many connections, far too much power for her to defy him. If she ever wants to do better than mediocre, she has no choice but to curry his favor.
ですが、代行者シエルだけには任せておけません。彼女の行動は不審極まります。ロア探索の手を止めているばかりか、私を切り捨てて一人になることに危ういものを感じます。司祭代行も彼女の経歴はご存知でしょ。彼女はキャンズです。なら今拘束すべきは私ではなく。
I misread that as she's a Quincy, like a Quincy from Bleach. A Quines?
あの女が吸血鬼もどきってことだろ。嫌っていうほど知ってるから安心しろ。
She's got vampire in her? What? Is it because of the idea blood or is it something else?
いいんだよ、あの女はあれで。 単独で動こうが上の意向に逆らおうが関係ねえ。何があろうとあいつはロアを殺す。そういう風にしか動けない女だからな。
She really does have a lot in common with Arkoi. In a rare moment, he drops his usual foul attitude and speaks maturely. The boy's voice rings faintly with resignation.
いいからてめえは荷物をまとめて待機してやがれ。2日もあれば辞令が届くからな。くだらねえ手間を増やさせるんじゃねえぞ。三下は何も考えず黙ってギーギー回ってればいいんだよ。
With one last tirade, the boy leaves the back alley. Only the blood-splattered nun remains. After making sure that the boy has indeed left, she picks up her weapon and swings it into the discarded steel beam with all her might. Ah!
何よあのガキ。何なのよ言いたい放題。子供のくせに大人を舐めるんじゃないっての。
Playing of metal does not just come once. She swings a total of 8 times, hurling curses not meant for human ears. The steel beam is completely crushed, now just a pitiful wreck, a sculpture perfectly portraying rage. The woman lets go of the halberd, her shoulders heaving. She has overexerted herself, lacking the physical strength to lift her weapon on her own. She typically casts a sacrament each time she swings it to reduce its weight. But this time, she swung away with nothing but raw fury. She laughs dryly at this desperate, self-destructive act that may very well have snapped the muscles in her arms.
バカね。何やってるのよ私。あの怪物じゃあるまいし、こんなでっかい自分の力だけで振り回せるはずないのに。
Still, her anger does not subside. The situation has changed. She knows she needs to stay calm and devise a countermove, but her heart refuses to cooperate. I think the way she uses this weapon is actually really cool. So basically she uses a sacrament to, for lack of better words, remove gravity from it, its weight, and then she removes that sacrament and just lets gravity do all the work. Huh, then yeah. Then, at this of all times, because it is time, a nightmarish spasm runs through her body. I guess Love biting her did do something to her then. She crumples as her insides assail her. She kneels on the ground, digging her fingers into the dirt as she clings on to her current self. Nausea comes over her, accompanied by a terrifying chill that freezes her to the bone. Though she has never experienced it herself, she imagines this is what morning sickness must feel like, but the imaginary child in her womb is surely not human. Oh god, oh fuck.
さないと早く吸血鬼を殺さないと。私がダメになる前にロアを探し出して殺さないといけないのに。
Oh god, she's gonna go down a very self-destructive route.
あと2日。あと2日しかないの。でも。
A weak voice inside her posits that she might not even have that much time. Her back feels like it's about to split open. She puts on a dirt-covered She puts a dirt-covered hand to her mouth to hold down whatever it is that threatens to burst out of her stomach. Oh, sorry. So I struggled with that because I was like, wait, why didn't they say her dirt-covered hand? I thought she just took a random person's hand and just used it to cover her mouth, which is like, ew.
大丈夫。神様は見てくれてる。私はいい子にしてたもの。きっと助けてもらえる。私は何も悪いことなんかしてない。だから。
Oh man, so is she gonna turn into a dead apostle because Roa bit into her? I mean, the red text was right there. It is time. That's really delayed too. Well, the thing is, like, if she can't really ask for salvation if she literally just killed a girl who was turned into a vampire and hadn't done any crimes yet, right? So I can understand why she's like really scared and freaking out, but it's kind of like you lost that card of trying to be innocent the moment you kind of killed someone who was innocent. I'll kill some more vampires tonight. I'll kill even more vampires tomorrow. That way I'll be saved. I'll find salvation. I'll find the revenge I've been chasing for 13 years. 13 years? Revenge. Oh. I mean, Roa's thing was... I don't know how long Roa took to reincarnate. I don't know when his last death was. I assume it was 17 years because, you know, other Shiki, you know?
そうよノエル。私は代行者になった。このために強くなった。あんなガキにも、あんな女にも、思い通りになんかさせるもんか。
Still shivering from the cold, she forces herself back onto her feet. The nun picks up her halberd with brute strength and leaves the makeshift execution site. A twisted smile plastered on her face. Oh shit, she's like really going down the deep end. It is looking really bad for Noel. Like really, really bad. Oh, back home. It's 12 a.m. I slink back to my room in the middle of the night while everyone's sleeping. Is he gonna read another book this time? Sneaking out and back is starting to feel more familiar. I change into my PJs and crawl into bed. Not you're gonna open your eyes again. Immediately drowsiness takes me. My brain must be tired after how much I've used my missing eyes, even though I don't feel that bad physically. I take off my glasses and set them next to my pillow and close my eyes.
あれ、何か考え事があった気がするんだけど。
What? You're thinking about something? I found it kind of weird how we just kind of started in his room. Because last time we started outside and then we just kind of made our way in, even though it was only like 5 seconds of like images passing by. But here they specifically had him start in his room, which is kind of weird. CL, Arcuid. I give in to sleep. An unpleasant floating sensation washes over me, but I manage to clamp down on it as I fall asleep and release my grip on my consciousness. Or is it? He's gonna wake up again.
なんだけど。もう、どうなってるんだ。
I wanna know, Shiki. I tear off my covers and get back out of the bed. The leftover energy in my body is keeping me awake, while my mind is desperate for respite. A slow feeling of torture. Oh, I understand what that feels like. Sometimes, like, I'm just really mentally exhausted, and I try to go to sleep, and my body's just like, it can't sleep. It just needs to do something, and it's just, when the minutes and hours go by, you just feel like, fuck, just let me sleep. There's nothing to do but go over to the sunroom. Isu and Kohaku would notice if I turned the lights on in my room, but the light from the sunroom can only be seen from outside. I'll just grab another book tonight and look at the words until I get sleepy. He's done this every night for 3 nights. Interesting. So we're getting more history. This time we're in 1989 AD. I was born into this world, the child of a shopkeeper in the French countryside. With the East Asian features I inherited from my mother. I grew up feeling like a foreigner in my own town. So is this CL? Because we heard Noel talk about how CL's mother was from Japan, so she's half. Where are we again? French. So she's half French? Well, that's interesting. Even so, the town people were amiable folks, always welcoming me with a smile. To repay their kindness, I did my best to live my life positively and honestly. I helped my father, went to school, dreamed about the future. As many children do, I struggled with puberty, which came early for me. But I never doubted that I was fortunate. I knew I was privileged with a rather charmed life. Hold on. 1989 AD. It's currently 2014, I believe. So that means this person is 25 years old. Wasn't Noel around that age? I think Noel was around 25, right? Maybe this is Noel. But she didn't feel like she was, I don't know. But time passed by so quickly, and suddenly my 12th birthday was upon me. Abruptly, a change came over me. Sometimes, when I'm playing with my friends, I would have this sudden desire to snap their slender necks. Sometimes, when I saw a beggar at the side of the road, I might imagine stabbing their malnourished stomach just for the fun of it. The impulse came without warning and followed no pattern. I would unexpectedly find my head filled with violent thoughts. Oh. Is this Roa's previous incarnation? This is 13 years ago. The Shiki thing happened 7 years ago because that's when the other Shiki started like spasming. So there's a time difference of 6 years between this event and the other one. I guess Roa does quote unquote plant his soul into other people before he dies. So it is possible. But just as I was about to act on them, I would remember my own name and run away with my face in my hands, holding back the screams in my throat and the tears in my eyes. I was healthy of body, sound of mind, and held no hatred for anyone. Yet whenever I was facing something within my power to destroy, I felt compelled to try. And I would find my face contorted with joy at the idea. I became afraid of going outside. Afraid of people. Afraid of myself. I was terrified of the joy that swelled within me with every passing day. Actually, the thing is, it can't really be anyone we know because this incarnation of Roa, if this is Roa, I'm assuming it's Roa, is dead. Or this is just Ciel and or Noel, their childhood, and something else is like in them that's not Roa. Because Roa, I mean, Noel clearly, she's starting to think differently now. Maybe she's like Shiki, who has like something repressed within him. But I could tell no one about it. So I grew more reclusive day by day until I stopped leaving my room altogether. I kept my composure to the very end. I had developed a split personality. Man, they really took like, I think these look like real life photos gone through a filter. Was I possessed by someone else's spirit? Oh yeah, I think so. I never once entertained such unscientific notions. In the end, my conclusion was that these were the same fleeting, invasive thoughts that everyone shared. Don't let the invasive thoughts like take over you. Don't let them win. I might complain when my father came to wake me after I stayed up late the night before. I might get upset after being splashed with water by a passing car while I walked down the main street after a heavy rainfall. These impulses were no different, small internal rebellions that momentarily took me over. But while perhaps other people could control them, I was never someone who could go against their own heart. I knew it was only a matter of time before I ended up doing something that I couldn't take back. All I could do was lock myself up in my room. I do kind of get it because like what she's saying about these like urges, I can kind of get because everyone has those moments where they're just way angrier than they should be, or like some switch just flips like and just switches off almost immediately. So it feels like there's a moment where it's like something just takes over you, usually anger, and it just doesn't feel like you. You kind of need a Snickers, you know? And but she's like, oh, these urges are kind of out of control for me. This is bad. I might actually end up acting on these urges if I don't like hide myself away. All I could do was lock myself up in my room. I was dead set on living out my days and doing nothing and meeting no one. That way I wouldn't have the chance to get angry about anything or build resentment for anyone. So I thought. I should have feared myself less, trusted God more, and turned to a priest for advice. Hiding away in the prison I made of my own room wore away at my soul until eventually I reached a breaking point. Oh, and then he took over. Or whatever thing took over. That day, with myself fully transformed into someone else, the innocuous thought came to mind that I was thirsty. Slowly, I dragged my weakened body out of my room. My parents, who were relaxing in the living room, came rushing to me as if I emerged for the first time in a month. My father greeted me, concern in his voice. My mother smiled, tears welling up in her eyes. And I killed them both. Jeez. It was all too easy. My body was still weak, still thirsty, but I had the strength to bite down on my parents' throat and drink. And drink. After draining them both of their blood and life, I stood up.
素晴らしい。この肉体は過去最高の才能だ。
I think that is Roa. I think that sounds like CL. But how is she alive if Arkwood killed her? And is she 25 actually? And not actually a high school girl? Is she potentially grooming Shiki? An unfamiliar voice spoke with my tongue. The thing that was once me painted its mouth red and wrapped its own body in an embrace. Oh shit. Oh, this is the part where we saw with frickin' Roa. What providence was this? Typically, the vessels I reincarnated into are all chosen in advance. Oh, good. You know what? Let's change voices. First, they must possess authority in the land of their birth. Second, their family must possess some unique talent. The first condition is more important. The second is merely supplementary. Possess authority in the... But she's just a child. Why? My primary task is to find a family line fulfilling the first condition and set it as the destination of my next reincarnation. However, in my previous life, the princess killed me before I could make my decision. Instead, I was forced to abridge the process and rely on astrology to guide me. Which is how I ended up with this body, belonging to that of a child of a middle-class family with low social standing. I knew it would be challenging to take control of the town under these circumstances. Building influence in the few years I had before the princess found me was next to impossible. But I did not despair. If anything, I felt euphoric, as if my body was brimming with light. When the weighing lineage against talent, I had always chosen the former. As a consequence, my host had never physically excelled. But this time was different. This body possessed magic circuits in such abundance and quality that they could generate more magical energy than 100 mages. Huh, why was CL that special? I thought her family was not really much because they said like I'd rather have talent, I'd rather have lineage over talent, but in the mage world, that's usually connected because you can only inherit magic circuits if you had lineage, right? Even the most talented mages would be considered defective compared to this. I can only laugh at this miscalculation of my past generations. All this time, my conditions were backwards. Authority and influence can be acquired with time. However, a truly outstanding body is a gift one must be born with. By the grace of the Lord. It was not until my reincarnation that I realized this truth. After I awoke, I set about transforming the town into a necropolis as quietly and inevitably as water seeps through dry soil. I abandoned the disorderly method I had previously employed. This time I proceeded gently, taking care not to spill too much blood at once. I was careful and methodical. Within a single night, the town was mine. From there, I painstakingly lovingly built my castle from the ground up. I would not let a single human escape, but nor would I let them die unnecessarily. First, I neatly frosted the cake with a spare, then little by little, sneering all the while, decorated it with jam and jelly and meat in resplendent fashion. It wasn't the most efficient process, but there was nothing that could be done about it. My reincarnated consciousness cannot exist on its own. I, myself, am nothing more than knowledge and drive. My personality is reconstructed for each new generation, based on the character and values of my hosts. Ah, yeah, so each one is different. Like, Shiki was so, Shiki, but by that I mean, like, not our Shiki, but the Roa Shiki, seemed, his personality seemed like it got mixed with Roa's with Shiki's base personality being his revenge on our Shiki, so he was already very bitter. And I kind of wonder how that Shiki was like before Roa took over. Because it sounded like they were really good friends, you know, really good brothers. But that doesn't seem to be the case. So I guess Roa just really impacted that other Shiki and slowly turned him into something more sinister. Oh right, there was also that other... Was it demon blood or was it just some like non-human blood mixed in with her family? So that also contributed towards Shiki kind of, you know, being weird. My personality, okay, yeah. Though I have control over my vessel, its thought processes and norms do not change entirely. In other words, my body belongs to my reincarnated self, but my original self remains. It retains its consciousness and memories, but slumbers amidst a nightmare of its own creation, from which it cannot wake. Which is why I remember. I remember the feeling of biting into my parents' throats. Oh, which is why I remember the feeling of biting into my parents' throats. I remember the days I spent tormenting the souls of the townspeople who once smiled at me, slowly melting them down one by one. All in all, it only took a week. In a week, I held the lives of everyone in the town in the palms of my hand, mine to play with for my own amusement. I wished to lose all reason, go insane and yield everything to my impulses. But if I did, I knew that I would only commit even worse atrocities. I had to hold on. If I maintained my sanity, at least I could limit the harm I could do. Wow. I'm assuming this is CL, but CL had to be mentally strong in order to stop the Roa takeover. Destruction is close at hand now. Not of this town, but of something much greater. I find myself rejoicing that my magnum opus is coming to fruition. For this reason, I have chased eternity. For this reason, I have collected the blood of so many. For this reason, others like myself, masters of far greater necropoles, have converged on this town. Before long, my consciousness will flicker out. Tonight, a world would end, but I would fade away before I could see it, cursed to the last. It's the red moon. If this nightmare had one saving grace, it'd be that its end came quickly. I can't tell who's thinking what. Oh. The pale woman arrived with the crimson moon. I don't know who she is. And yet I do. Oh, wow. Oh, so that's a relationship. CL's like, I never personally met this person because Ro was taking control. But I'm assuming it's CL because of the half Japanese thing. I don't think Noel would have said that. And she's clearly very powerful as well. But that explains a lot of stuff. Oh shit. That's why they know each other. That's why I was wondering, CL I can see under like knowing Arcwood. I didn't understand why Arcwood could know CL. It's because she's killed her before. Oh shit. The sixth ritual began. With his body, I believe it possible that I would finally have that woman in white, and then, with his body, I believe it would be possible I could finally have this woman in white, and then the profane ceremony was brought to a halt. The white vampire princess and I did battle, ending in my demise. With my next reincarnation already prepared, I transmigrated, leaving only my corpse behind. The woman departed, and my body was brought to the holy sea. Ah, CL's body was brought to the church. How does she live though? She should be dead. Damn. Oh man. Oh, I think it's CL. I'm not 100% sure. I'm like 40% sure. Pretty low, but not complete. Definitely not completely. But I mean, we already know how savage Arcwood is when Shiki's not around, so it's not surprising to see her especially with her main purpose being to kill Roa. You can definitely see that happening. Ooh, we're still getting a lot of Roa stuff, so I feel like Roa's gonna come back, but I still really don't understand how. But if this was 13 years ago, then And you know, it seems like Roa's just planted a lot of seeds and hops across people depending on whenever he dies. So this could, I guess he just hopped into the other Shiki. Oh man. But honestly, it was very hard to go through that stuff with Noel because she was, I mean, I really enjoyed it, but it was like, oh man, this is really, really rough. Because like she just killed so many people when they were begging for their lives. And honestly, a lot of them probably do deserve to die because all of them have probably killed at least one person, aside from that one person that hasn't turned yet. And, but we just saw the side of her where she's like, I'm just doing this to de-stress. And I have the church behind me to basically say that this is sanctioned murder. Let's go. But she's such a, what's the right word? A victim in the church too, because everyone freaking like just talks down on her, hates her, and now she's gonna lose her job and potentially her life. So it's very understandable that she's freaking out now. Like I can definitely understand why she is the way she is, and I feel like she's either going to die trying to kill more vampires in order to redeem herself, because it looks like it's gonna go down a really self-destructive path, or she's going to end up joining like the dark side. And I don't know exactly who the dark side is at this point. Is she gonna be like Roa's successor? I mean, maybe. I'm not really quite sure, but shit is definitely heating up, and it's getting really interesting. I also want to know what's up with Shiki because he's having trouble sleeping. He's getting the zips every once in a while where he kind of like really like he gets a headache and whatnot. So I have a lot of questions and I hope they get answered. I mean, eventually, I'm sure everything will get answered, but I hope they get answered soon. Maybe next episode, but yeah, we'll save that for next time. Until then, I will be seeing you. See ya!